We're live.
Well, a warm welcome to you all, whether you're watching live or the replay. This is Carnivore Conversations with JJ and Eric. I am JJ. I'm a life coach and I eat mostly meat.
I'm Eric. I'm a novelist and I eat beef, bacon, butter, eggs, and coffee.
And coffee. Yes. And coffee. So we're excited to be here with you on Friday morning for us. We're in Central Time Zone. Friday morning for us. We just celebrated the 4th of July yesterday.
Yep.
Which you spent a lot of the day mowing.
I did. I spent a lot of the day mowing, and then we did fireworks.
Fireworks. That's an overstatement.
So we bought fireworks, which, by the way, inflation changed the firework cost dramatically. It's a lot of money for about 30 seconds of sparks. But we did that late.
Yes.
10 something at night. It was quite dark.
Now, pre-carnivore, you would have never been up. I'm serious. You would have never chosen to be up at 10 o'clock doing fireworks. Sparklers and fountains.
Pre-carnivore, I would have been falling asleep at about 8:45 while we were watching TV.
That's generous, 8:45.
And but I was ready to go.
I was shocked. Now, I happened to be kind of tired last night, unusually tired. So I don't know what that was about, but I was, again, just shocked that you had enough energy to really...
I don't know. I had an extra coffee, so maybe that was it. But I ended up this morning waking up at my usual time, which is around 5 o'clock. So I didn't get that much sleep, but I felt okay.
Yeah.
And then I had more coffee, which always helps. So to all of our American friends, happy belated 4th of July, happy Independence Day. To everyone else around the world, the same.
The same. So we have a 4th of July sort of family gathering tomorrow.
Yeah, what are we going to eat?
And, well, I handled it at the top of things this time. I told my family I'm just going to bring us some burger patties, and you don't have to worry about us otherwise.
We need to bring my seasoning.
We do need to bring seasoning. We need to get some good burger patties, I think.
Okay.
Not just the frozen Walmart ones, which are good, but, you know, there's that other store we get them from. Yeah.
They're so adequate.
But my brother asked me, are these magic burger patties or something? Because he's like, they're still trying to understand what we're doing here, I think. Yeah. So I said they were not magic, but they kind of are, because let's see, the 3rd of July, I was just sitting there again. I'd had about 3 pounds of meat that day, which was a lot for me. I usually have about 1, but I've just been hungry lately. And I was just sitting there in that carnivore bliss state most of the day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Someday I will experience the carnivore bliss state.
Yeah. It was amazing.
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah. So in a way, beef is sort of magical, but not, I don't think, in the way he's thinking. Yep. So that's what we're doing. We're having we could bring any meat, but I figured burger patties would just be easy to slap on a skillet, on a grill, whatever he's doing. And I told him, I said, your diet and my mother's diet, he's low fat, low sodium. My mother's vegetarian. They're our diet is such an opposite from them. Just don't even worry about us. You guys can align much easier than we can. And I did offer to bring a dish to pass, just so that I'm also feeding the group.
Yep.
So I'm bringing some fruit.
Yeah, our diet causes some cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
For certain family.
Yeah.
And pardon me. We know this because JJ has obviously lost weight, and her mother very helpfully sent an article recently. What was that article about?
It was about Ozempic. And how that is not healthy. It causes blindness and stalled digestion and so forth. And then I didn't tell you this. So I was like, I'm not sure if this is backhanded or what, but it might be. I don't know. But then the next comment was about getting the right vitamins for our eyes, and she sent a carrot emoji with it. So I'm thinking maybe it was.
So your mother, through this very helpful article, is trying to hint that you shouldn't be taking Ozempic,
Right. I think so, maybe.
that you're not taking.
That I'm not taking.
So that tells me she doesn't believe that your diet is responsible for your changes.
Right. And I've speculated, not with my mother so much, but with other people. Nobody asks me about my weight loss. So I speculate that they think I might be taking the juice.
Yeah, they probably do.
Almost no one has commented.
I just think that's funny. Your mother is sometimes very direct about what she wants and what she believes,
Mm-hmm.
but often she goes around the corner to make her point.
Yes.
And now that she's texting,
Yes.
I don't ever have to hear any of it.
No, you don't. You don't.
It's great. So Linda is from Ontario, Canada.
Welcome. Welcome. When is your Independence Day? I feel like it's in July, is earlier July or something. When is yours in Canada? I'm curious. And let us know where you're from. Again, if you're live or you're watching the replay, we love to see where in the country and where in the world, where in the country, where in the continent, where in the world you're from.
Yeah. Where the heck are you? So if you haven't seen it, our most recent video was about green smoothies. We had found the recipe book back when we were doing a green smoothie phase, trying to find our health.
Mm-hmm.
We now call it the oxalate diet. And the responses have been interesting. And
I just want to point out, I want to thank our international friends for saving that video.
That's true.
We released it. Our normal release schedule is what?
Wednesdays and Sundays.
So this got released July 3rd, and I think everybody was out and about doing things because it was a skunk waffle type of video.
They don't even know what skunk waffle is.
What is skunk waffle?
Skunk waffle is pretty much our worst performing video ever. I titled it Skunk Waffles. I have a cute picture of a skunk eating a waffle. And it was basically about how our dog got skunked, but also how we made some carnivore waffles. And for some reason, that was not clickbait for all of y'all.
Yeah, so we thought we were having a skunk waffle video, but understanding too that it's pre-holidays, so, you know, whatever. But we went to bed and you said maybe overnight.
Yeah.
Our international crew will help.
And they did.
And they did.
People came through.
They rescued it. And I know then on the 4th of July, we had a lot of U.S. comments as well. So Thank you.
So let's check out the comments on that one real quick because they're kind of interesting. Lee says, that was me too. Juicing was horrible. I loved smoothies and green veggies, but I love how I feel now much better.
Oh my gosh.
I can totally understand that.
And I love your handle, Lee for Health. That's great.
Because, I mean, what the smoothies did to my digestion was not pretty or pleasant.
I just couldn't. I did not love the veggies, the greens, and so I did not hang on to that for very long. But I tried to, like, I would make a fruit smoothie and throw in a little sprinkling of spinach.
Did any of you go through a green smoothie phase or a juicing phase? Let us know in the comments. And how did that go for you? It was great for my extremely spiky blood sugar.
It was.
Jay Cardenas says, the thing I liked most was when I'm hungry, I'm just that hungry. When eating rice, veggies, and quinoa, I would feel like I have to eat now. I don't miss having stool-like cow patties or cravings for sugar and carbs like vampires to blood.
Ooh, I like that metaphor.
That's kind of dark.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's kind of me and chocolate.
Yeah. I really cut out chocolate recently. I was having like chocolate elements and such, and I was having sort of cravings for it. It was like after lunch, I need chocolate. After dinner, I need chocolate, and I just cut it out. You've cut it out completely.
I've cut it out completely because as some of you will know, I have cleaned up my carnivore diet as of, I don't know, 2 weeks ago now.
Something like that.
And the cravings are really have just bottomed out.
Mm-hmm.
Crunchy glyphosate directly to your bloodstream. Now, like, that's a good thing. Yeah.
And yeah, in that video, I explained how I tried to do this process to get the chemicals and dirt out of it with bleach and soaking and drying and all this stuff, but I'm not sure it worked so well. Oh boy, what's going on?
Okay, ma'am, what have you been eating? Green smoothies?
Yes.
You have a severe Roundup deficiency now. Well, actually, you'd have a too much Roundup.
Too much Roundup.
Yeah, that's funny. I've spent thousands on different high-end juicers and blenders. Now I don't use any of them. I'm an ex-vegan who now thinks vegans should be mocked at every opportunity.
Oh, Richard, you're our type of people. No,
Yeah.
we don't mock them,
No.
but we mock the concept of vegetarian,
Look,
vegan.
there's been people who have made extremely positive steps in their health by going vegan because they eliminate all the processed crap out of their diet, if that's the kind of vegan they are.
Now, I know a coach who is in his upper 70s, and he's been vegetarian a big chunk of his life, huge decades and decades. And he seems to be thriving on it. But I think a big part of that is that I don't think he screwed up his digestion to begin with. Because he's been doing unprocessed foods for so long. And I think he missed that bubble even where it really started to get popular. So I think he's got a good metabolism. And
some people thrive on it. I mean, if you're familiar with Rich Roll, he's like a ultra marathon runner, and he lives on a vegan diet.
Yeah.
And manages it. Michelle says, I'm going to remove us for a second. I don't hate vegetables, but I've never tried juicing or smoothies because I never believed that I would get full or be satisfied, which ends up being true. I get so annoyed when people try to say carnivore is expensive. Ribeyes are expensive and a good treat, but there are many fruits and vegetables that cost more per pound than ground beef or chicken. And if you don't eat it fast enough, it ends up in the garbage and you have to buy more. My meats never meet the garbage. I give that an A+, Michelle.
Yeah, that's really, I've never thought about doing the pound for pound cost. But I do remember many times having our greens, we'd get the clamshell full of greens, and you'd open it and it already smelled off.
Yeah.
And technically you could take it back to the store, but we don't even live, it's just not convenient to be like, oh, I'm dropping everything, I'm going to the store right now and heading and getting more greens. And telling them, look, this is rancid.
And Darlene said, green smoothies, the oxalate diet. Ah, yes, been there, done that. I ate kale by the bushel, kept wondering why I don't feel amazing. Live and learn. So grateful for carnivore. Yep. It's, even now, it feels crazy when I just have a plate of meat and then I eat it and go, this is what I'm eating. Because the old programming is very hard to break free from.
Yeah, it really is.
Joy says, dropping dairy for a while has been significant in breaking weight loss stall that's gone on for months. Also, I simply track the macro of protein only, trying to reach 100+ grams a day. Fat and calories intake seems to take care of itself.
Joy, first of all, love your name. That's my middle name. My name is Jennifer Joy. And secondly, I really like that focus on just worrying about the protein and making sure that you are getting enough protein. I think the whole diet has changed my life, but I think a big chunk of that has been the amount of protein. I have never gotten this much protein in my life.
No.
Ever. Not even close. Not even close.
Me neither.
And you tried. I mean, you would pound the protein.
I would have protein shakes.
Yeah.
But, maybe that's 30, 40 grams of protein in a shake. And then some chicken breasts for lunch. Maybe occasionally some sushi. Some meat sauce on the pasta. It wasn't adding up anywhere near to what I needed at 6 foot and whatever I weighed at the time.
Yeah.
And my muscle mass now at the age of 53 is much greater than it was at any time in my life before.
Yeah,
Without
it's incredible.
Without a doubt.
Incredible.
So those are the comments from the green smoothie world. And it was just so fun to do that video. If you haven't seen it, we just have fun with it. And you will too.
Yeah.
Let's go back.
I did put that green smoothie book in the donate pile. I
You
should
did.
probably just not donate it, though. I should probably landfill it.
Well, you could put a Post-it in it that says, you can read this, but just do carnivore. And go to JJ and Eric at YouTube
There you
for
go.
reasons why. We should put that in one of those, what do you call those little libraries that people put in their front yards?
I don't know what they're called, but yeah. Little library? I don't know.
What is that called? Is that only a Wisconsin thing, or do you have those in your neighborhood where people have like a little box with a window door on it, and people put books in there, and you can grab one and you can leave one? I've never taken one out of there.
I've never seen one being used either, so I don't know.
We should go put the carnivore code in every single one of them.
I like that. I like that.
I don't even know if that's the right. Is that the right title? The carnivore?
Any of them.
Yeah.
Any of them.
Oh my. Let's see, who do we have here?
Yeah, who do
we have? Walk-Humbly. Love you guys. I am in Maryland. We love you, Walk-Humbly.
Hello. Hello.
Marcy's Creative Studio. Hello from the Netherlands.
Hi, Marcy.
If I knew any Dutch, I would say something to you in it.
So glad to see you
Yeah.
again, Marcy.
Frida. Hello from California.
Hey.
Hi, Frida.
Frida.
Frida. That was hard because it's Hartono. I almost turned you into Frodo.
Oh.
Karen, hi. Hello from Tulsa. And green smoothie is a thumbs down.
Oh. Have you been to Oklahoma? Where the wind comes sweeping down the... You've heard that so many times.
I've been through Oklahoma
I don't think I've ever been there.
as a kid.
Yeah. I have a coaching friend who has... Her family lives there, and she loves it. She lives in California, but she loves Oklahoma. Oh, my goodness.
So you could pronounce this one, JJ.
Onhira?
Yep. Sorry about
Something?
the pronunciation. But hello from Texas.
Hello from Texas. We were there earlier this year to take a cruise out of Galveston.
And it happened to be, we arrived the day of, what is it, Mardi Gras?
Mardi Gras.
So it was impossible to get anywhere.
But we went to a steak joint.
Right.
And it was the best prepared steak I think we've ever had.
It was amazing, and I can't remember what it was called.
No.
But it was also the most expensive steak I've ever eaten.
Yeah, it was.
And I had the filet, and it was, every bite was like, if meat was cake, that was what that was.
Every bite. Now, it was our only option due to Mardi Gras, because
Yeah.
we were on the other side of the island, and there was like a 1 mile walk
Yeah.
along the highway.
Yeah. On some frontage road, yeah.
On some, yeah, it was funny.
Stink a cat. You have the best username. Hello.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to our Friday morning. Almost noon here.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
So we have a couple of news stories. We like to find those, and we are going to see if this works. So let's switch over to that. So, mom defends toddler's viral kind of carnivore diet. Expert weighs in. So before we even read this, does anybody want to guess whether the expert was in support of this child's carnivore diet or against it?
I know what my vote is.
Let's see here. Here's the kid eating a T-bone. And as more parents explore alternative dietary plans for their children, a clinical nutritionist is advocating for a carnivore diet, emphasizing its benefits for infants' growth and development. Isabel Malmberg, 31, told Newsweek how a meat-heavy diet for her toddler has been beneficial.
So is she a clinical nutritionist?
Yes.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't catch that
That's
when I
kind
read
of
that.
interesting, right?
Yeah.
So, and apparently she's gotten a lot of maybe negative attention for feeding her child with no shirt. I love the no shirt look. That's complete carnivore, Paleolithic, no haircut. eat the meat right off the bone. The only fault with it is that she cooked it first. I mean, but look at this. You can tell that this particular cut was designed for children because it's got a built-in handle.
It does have a built-in handle.
And they can just get right in there and rip it off with their 2 teeth. So we're not going to go through all of this, but I wanted to get down here to the expert. It loves it. Let's see here. Wow,
this was a long one, yeah.
So what did the experts say? Not all experts agree. Allison Orr says you should make healthy dietary changes and include all food groups. Meats and animal products contain saturated fats and cholesterol, which can lead to heart disease when consumed in excessive amounts.
It is amazing how much that persists, even though it's been rescinded.
Apparently, they haven't gotten the memo.
No, nobody has gotten the memo.
A diet lacking whole grains, fruits, and vegetables is low in fiber and nutrients like vitamin C. It's always the fiber. They come back for the fiber. They're trying to get you to eat Brillo pads. Inadequate fiber can lead to bowel dysfunction and chronic constipation, whereas diets rich in fiber have been associated with decreased risk of certain bowel diseases, including diverticulosis and colorectal. I just want to say it's association, has nothing to do with anything. You know what else is associated with it? Having a pulse and breathing oxygen. So take caution when feeding child with a medical condition that requires a diet lower protein, iron, or fat. Yeah, well, a whole bunch of different genetic problems. Yeah, you'd probably want to be more careful. I can understand that. But Malmberg, the mom, says fiber's not an essential nutrient. In fact, we can't digest fiber.
And I just want to point out here, that's one of those things that once I went carnivore, it was such a duh. Like, it was like, oh, yeah, that's the point. We can't digest fiber, but we can't digest fiber, so why are we eating it?
Yeah. And she says that her firstborn got ended up getting drawn into sweet flavor, becoming picky.
Mm-hmm.
And so she didn't do that with the second one.
That's the experience I had with our daughter. I really tried to be careful with her. Now, I knew nothing about meat at that time, obviously. And there's also this baby-led weaning now where they are holding the chicken bone. You'd feed them off your plate. That wasn't happening back then at all. So, and I don't know the details because my daughter's 20. But I followed this situation where I was really trying to make her baby food and puree everything. And it kind of worked for a while. And we kept her away from sugar for like 2 years. It was amazing. Like, she had no sugar at all. But once she had pasta and bread, it was all over.
Yeah.
It was all over.
Now, I don't know what I was fed as a baby because I was a baby. But I do know that from the very earliest memory, I was an extremely picky eater, and I only liked carby, sweet things.
Yeah. That reminds me, the thing that I was following, I can't remember who I was following, but baby's first food was cantaloupe, pureed cantaloupe, because supposedly that tasted most like the mother's milk. So that's what my daughter started on, was cantaloupe juice, basically. Probably not ideal.
No.
And then it said not rice, because rice is nutrient devoid. So to do oatmeal. So I would grind up oatmeal, and that was her first cereal that she ate. Yeah. And man, if I could go back in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's see what the next little article says. This is, where's the title here? Can carnivore diet give you scurvy? Our nutritionist explains. Let me make sure this is in the screen. So when I saw this title, I was like, anytime they say nutritionist explains, I'm pretty much like, oh, this will be interesting.
Although Malmberg in the last
Yeah,
one,
but she was the mom.
yeah.
So if you're enjoying this live and our channel, please give us a like and also subscribe. There's a reason most people are unfamiliar with the medical condition called scurvy. Are most people really that unfamiliar with it? I think that because of the popularity of the Pirates of the Caribbean, people would know about scurvy and be interested in understanding what it was, but I could be wrong. But anyway, it's a deficiency in vitamin C that results in bleeding gums and teeth falling out and stuff like that. And it was famous in the Navy, in the Old Navy, because Old Navy. People go to Old Navy, watch out, you'll get scurvy. In the English Navy, because if they didn't have limes or lemons with them, they didn't get vitamin C, and they became scurvy dogs. And one thing they did not mention in the list of symptoms: aching joints, exhaustion, and depressed mood. You also begin saying "arr" all the time when you have scurvy. Okay. So apparently the carnivore diet made its way into popularity via TikTok. I think Sean Baker would disagree with that.
I think he might.
And so would Joe Rogan, who helped popularize it.
Mm-hmm.
Proponents swear that it helps them with weight loss. And I didn't know about this. In a 2021 poll, Current Develops in Nutrition, 95% of participants who said they followed a carnivore diet agreed that they were satisfied with their health outcomes.
Imagine.
And participants who had diabetes reported seeing an improvement in their condition after becoming carnivore diet followers. So, I mean, that's pretty great if people who do it love it, and we know that they do because we're them. And you are too. Despite the poll's findings, many nutritionists have warned that eliminating the majority of food groups can have short-term and long-term detrimental effects for carnivore dieters. And then we have this registered dietitian nutritionist who says, proceed with caution. It's high in fat, low in carbs, and lacks plant nutrients. So what they don't say is what plant nutrients are in plants that are essential, because there are no essential nutrients that aren't found in meat. And so they're aiming at vitamin C, but they don't ever really tell you that carnivores eat carnivore for months and years and never have this problem.
Well, and I'm not sure. I am not an expert on carnivore, or on scurvy. I'm not an expert. I didn't know it was a disruption of collagen, which may be true. I don't know. That would explain why teeth fall out, I suppose. But we eat collagen regularly in meat, like the natural form of collagen. So I don't know if that helps things, but I just thought it was kind of interesting because I've never seen the relationship to collagen.
Yeah. So I've actually listened to Dr. Berry talk about this very topic. And he's like, well, the vitamin C is needed in higher amounts when you're eating the SAD diet.
Yeah.
Because of the, I guess, antioxidant behavior of it. But when you're eating carnivore, your body just simply doesn't need as much vitamin C, and you don't end up getting the symptoms of scurvy.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, I accept that explanation. I'm not a doctor, and I'm not a scientist of any kind. This is pretty obvious when I start talking about this stuff. Kuleb adds that scurvy isn't the only potential condition linked to the carnivore diet. The diet's focus on eating processed meats contribute to the development of colorectal cancers. They're aiming at bacon and nitrates.
Oh, I didn't even put that together. I didn't even put that
together.
Which
is just totally irrelevant, because we can have the whole conversation about celery and all the nitrates in certain veggies. It's an irrelevancy. And the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition suggests upping dietary fiber has been associated with reduced cancers. So associated means it may or may not. You know what else is associated with those things? Having a pulse and breathing oxygen. I think that's enough of this. I'm going to start to get mad.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
So, how do I get back to us? Here we are.
Here we are. Still here.
Hello from Saskatoon, Saskatchewan. We celebrate Canada Day on
July
July
1st.
1st.
I thought so. Excellent. Excellent.
I went fishing in Saskatchewan with my parents when I was probably about 12, and I don't remember where it was. I know we went into Saskatoon and then went someplace. Absolutely gorgeous lake.
Mm.
And the smallest northern pike you could catch was the size of me.
Little known fact about Canada. We were married there.
We were, yeah.
Not in Saskatoon.
Yeah, so one of the things we would be asked when we got home is, does your marriage count in the United States? And I was like, huh. So anybody who's married somewhere else, if they move to America, their marriage instantly dissolves. It does not count.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my God, that's funny.
Yeah, we got married in Canmore, just outside of Banff.
Yeah, and it was gorgeous. We were outside along the Bow River, the mountains in the background, and when we were done, we went to Dairy Queen.
We did.
Annette, I'm listening and practicing tennis, playing solo. That's why I call it practice. When I grew up, it was kind of a farm, except for we didn't farm. So there was barns and stuff, but we had no livestock. And we didn't cultivate any fields. And I would take my tennis racket and tennis ball down to the barn lot and hit the ball against the side of the barn and volley with myself. And I got very good at beating the barn. Oh, let's see here. Most of the people on a ship didn't have access to much meat. Yeah, well, that would have been true.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hello from Ohio. Love your videos. Hi, Victoria. How are things in Ohio? I spent a month in Akron 1 week.
Wait. I spent a month in Akron 1 week. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, Canadians in Texas.
We love Canmore. Yes. Beautiful.
And Canadians love to be where it's warm, apparently.
Oh, my goodness.
I was on business many, many, many years ago. I had to go to Montreal in January, where I was force-fed a smoked meat sandwich right before I had to give a presentation. And I ended up having some of the worst heartburn of my entire life.
Oh.
But it was unbelievably cold, and we live in Wisconsin. And I said, this is an unfair, unrealistic environment. No human should be here at this time of year. But otherwise, it was a gorgeous place and beautiful city and lovely people.
Mm.
So
I wanted to shout out a podcast I've been listening to.
Please do.
And it's probably not for you seasoned carnivores. I almost said Canadians. Seasoned carnivores, yet it could be a little resource for your back pocket. So it is Joanne Ozug, and it is Road to Carnivore. She has a website and a podcast.
How do you spell it?
Ozug.
And it's called what?
The Road to Carnivore. And I've been working my way through it. So it's not going to have a bunch of new information, but she's got like 30 episodes on this podcast. And I just think it's beautifully done, where she talks about her road to carnivore, but talks about why meat is better, why veggies are, the problems with veggies, why she chose a carnivore diet. And it's just done, like I said, done beautifully and very easy to understand, very good tone, just excellent. So I've got it in my back pocket so that if anyone is interested in carnivore, I would send them there, because not only could they listen to the whole series, but if they're questioning scurvy, there's probably a podcast episode about that. And I'm about a little more than halfway through them all. But again, just the tone, it's easily understandable. It's just a really, really awesome
Well, now I want to
resource.
listen to it.
I told you about it, and you literally said, "Why are you telling me this?"
That might have been something I said.
I'm like, oh, I didn't know I shouldn't be sharing a podcast with you.
I think there was probably a context.
Now, he doesn't usually say, "Why are you telling me this?" That's why this is sort of remarkable. But I was like, why are you asking me this? We talk carnivore all the time. I'm just bringing up a podcast.
I don't think that was my tone.
It was pretty close. What do you mean? Was it more like, oh, why are you telling me this?
My memory of it doesn't count. I know this. But I feel like you said it's very basic. And so I felt like, well, why would I listen to it?
That could be.
If it really is, more basic than something that I would be interested in. But yeah, having a great resource like that to refer people to who might be interested in carnivore is a good idea.
And it is pretty extensive in that it covers a lot of topics. Like I said, I don't know that it's new information for us, but it's awesome. It's awesome. Now, you might have been also in a poor mood.
Yeah.
At the time. Possible. Because you said you've been tightening up your carnivore.
Yep.
So I'm curious about where you're at, because you've sort of been giving us a progress report as we've gone along.
I think it's a little over 2 weeks now. And it has been interesting and challenging, but not in the ways I expected.
Yeah.
I thought that I would have terrible sweetener withdrawal, because before I tightened things up, I was having artificial sweetener and dairy. I dropped both of those things. So now it's beef, bacon, butter, eggs, coffee, and then I had a chicken.
Yeah, occasionally another type of meat.
That's the only thing kind of off to the side. So I thought that I would really be struggling with wanting my sweet drinks and my sweet element. And that has not really been an issue at all. But getting enough salt and electrolytes was a bit of a challenge, because I switched to the unflavored element, which doesn't taste great. But I've got a technique for it now that allows me to shoot it fairly quickly. And I kind of get the impression of the salty sweetness of a flavored one through a trick of the brain, where I pretend that it's the peach flavored one.
There's no peach, but
whatever the pink one is.
Raspberry.
Raspberry. I don't know what it is. No, element.
The raspberry, the pink is raspberry.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't read labels. So anyway, but the reason I had done it was because I was at a bit of a plateau, and I was having a few little anxiety things kind of coming back. And so I thought, well, I need to make sure I'm getting nice into ketosis and stuff. And so yeah, getting those electrolytes in has been challenging. I have started taking the Keto Chow Daily Minerals shot, which is something like, think of the worst villain in history. I'm not going to name names. Just take that person, and they said, I'm going to devise a drink that's healthy, and it's going to taste awful. And that's what he came up with. It just is horrible, but I just do it.
But you are
Gag it
referring.
down. My mic is.
It fell off.
Yeah, here.
You are referring to villains, not Dr. Barry, who actually did devise
Yeah,
the drink.
Yeah, right.
You're not.
He kind of is a villain in those 1.2 seconds I have to taste it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been going well. I think you've said I deflated a little bit. I had a little puffiness we didn't even know I had.
Yeah, definitely.
So yeah,
Well,
continuing ahead with
I
it.
was thinking about this on the ride home this morning from the grocery store and listening to the Road to Carnivore podcast, because she did actually bring up one point that I've never thought of.
Okay.
Now, you had said also one of the reasons that you had wanted to tighten your carnivore diet was because you felt like the sweeteners were messing with your palate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You have a known aversion to beef.
Yep.
And you were hoping that that would recalibrate you.
Yes.
Has it?
No.
At this point? No, not yet.
But we found a seasoning.
Yes.
And this is one of those like sort of duh things. I only ever season with salt and not very much of it because I don't like the meat to be too salty. Well, you found just some meat seasonings in the drawer or the cabinet, and it never would have occurred to me to put any of those on there. Now, they are made out of herbs, right? So technically they're not carnivore. But I had to face the fact that there was no way I was going to be successful long term if eating plain hamburgers was going to taste the way that they tasted. So we did an experiment. I found one that I love, and it totally transforms it into something that's actually good. It's like I give it a B in
Whoa,
flavor.
that is pretty good.
And I put it in my eggs, and that added a little pizzazz too. It gives it a little heat, and there's salt in it. And then I was worried yesterday when I had them because they were so good. I'm like, is there some sort of sugar in this? There must be sugar in this. So I dumped some out, and I looked at it, and I dabbed it up, and I tasted it, and there's no sugar in it. So it was adding a sweet effect. Very faint.
Sweet to a carnivore.
Yeah. It was creating the illusion of sweetness just by virtue of the combination of flavors. And I'm happy.
Now you're going to ask us what this is. And it's a local spice company.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lake Geneva
Spice Company.
Spice Company, Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. And it's called?
Char Crust.
Char Crust?
Char Crust. I think you can order it online, though. I think you might be able to do that. But what I wanted to mention with this carnivore podcast, too, you're wondering, you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah, okay.
This carnivore podcast she talked about the dopamine hit and how not only can the palate, like you were talking about your palate being attuned, but the brain being attuned to that little dopamine hit every time you were drinking the Zevia or the Element. And so then when you eat other things, other flavors, you also aren't getting that dopamine hit.
Yes.
So I just never thought of it from the dopamine side of things and the sweeteners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I did a version of priming for nearly 2 weeks. It actually probably was 2 weeks. And then I kind of backed off. So eating really when I'm hungry. And so that has allowed me to delay some meals or skip a couple of, and when I'm really hungry, all the food tastes way better. And we had the thickest T-bone I have ever seen just a couple of days ago.
Oh my gosh, we did. And I have to say, I pulled out the cast iron skillet. We've had a cast iron skillet for a long time. And you were the one who was like, let's buy one years and years ago. And I'm like, oh, they're too much of a bother. I said, I am not going to be in charge of seasoning or cleaning this thing. And so you're like, no, I will. And then it got to a point where you're like, I don't really like cleaning this thing. So we put it away just for special cornbread was what I'd usually make in it. Some sort of cornbread. And I pulled it out and holy cow, it was good. I've used it twice now for that big fat T-bone. And then I used it the next day for something, and I think it's kind of good.
Why? Would it make any difference?
I don't know. I think it gives it a better sear or something. But you were like, this is really juicy.
It was.
Yeah. It was great. And I cleaned it one of the nights. You cleaned it the other night.
Did you use soap?
No. It actually isn't that bad to clean it.
That's a frequent meme on X. Somebody will say, do you see how clean I got this
Oh,
pan?
no.
And they've taken all the seasoning off of it. It's a joke.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
So yeah,
funny.
we did a seared, and I grilled it as well. I grilled it. I put the T-bone, or I put the cast iron pan in the grill
Oh.
and used it
In the green egg?
in the green egg. Yeah. Yeah. For
Seems
that.
like a lot of extra work.
Not really.
I would have taken the T-bone and
And
thrown it into the
Air fryer. Yeah.
And then I would have eaten probably about a third less of it because it would have tasted
You finished it.
all the
Almost.
one little
That's right.
one
Almost.
little strip of it. I ate a lot of it.
Which is unusual
Yeah.
with a steak. Yeah.
So yeah, so it's going good. I
Yeah.
recommend it if you're eating dairy or artificial sweeteners and you have hit any sort of plateau, or you've got any symptoms of inflammation. Those would be the first two to do an experiment. You don't have to commit to doing it forever.
You're not
Just-
committed forever.
I'm getting closer to it. Do an experiment to just take it out for 30 days and see what happens. But I'm not adding that stuff back. I had on the 4th yesterday, there was a moment where my brain went, it's the 4th of July. When are we having s'mores?
Yeah.
And I said, oh, we're not having s'mores because I can't eat them. So I had that moment, but it wasn't, I didn't suffer.
No. I want to give a shout out to Lisa who arrived. Hello, Lisa.
You're not too late.
You caught us a little bit.
You can always watch us on the replay.
Mhm.
And she's asking, how is the green egg? I've been eyeing it for a while.
We've had it for quite a while, and I really like it. So much that my brother bought one. I made the best prime rib. So I always do this. I start the story in the middle. My brother was a chef.
Yep.
Years ago, he's no longer in that industry, but years ago, for Christmas, I made a rib roast on the big green egg. And he could not believe how wonderful it was. Like, he's dreamed of it ever since. And then about a year ago, he finally broke down and bought the big green egg, and it was based on that rib roast.
That one rib roast.
That one rib
Wow.
roast. Yeah. So I really like it. I like cooking with it, smoking with it. I always think smoking's funny. I can't help it. No, I really like it. You are not huge on smoke flavors, though.
No, it turns out that smoke-infused beef really is hard for me to get down.
Yeah. So when I smoke with it, even I never use the chips, the wood chips,
Okay.
because
Well, maybe it's worth trying again.
it has been years since I've done
Yeah.
it. So maybe
You did it wrong.
yeah, I'm sure that was it.
Well, if that rib roast was so good,
Uh,
maybe it was just the wrong kind of wood chip. Maybe instead of mesquite, you use
there are
hickory or
there
something.
are not hickory. Hickory's strong.
hickory was a no.
But yeah, there are milder smokes, so that is definitely a possibility. But I really enjoy it,
Well,
and especially this time of year.
I've eaten. We went to some place in Austin. You weren't there for meat, and I think the menu was like the 3 meat plate. I don't remember what the meats were, but surely it was smoked,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it was brisket, and it was amazing.
Oh, smoked burgers are amazing, says Lisa.
Mm.
I've never done a smoked burger, so I will have to try that.
So smoked steak is gross, but smoked burgers are amazing. I could buy that. The other thing that's really good in the big green egg, when she takes the time to make it, is pork ribs.
Yes. Oh my goodness, I've got a good recipe.
But we have to develop a new rub or something for it because we can't have the sweet sauces.
I believe the Redmond salt, I don't know that it has the Redmond Red Rock barbecue seasoning. I just purchased fairly recently. I think I've used it once or twice on things. I don't believe that has sugar.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
You
but
need
I
to check
think
it.
I think I bought it because it did not have sugar. But yeah, the sauces are a no-go.
Yeah.
A no-go. But man, it's a good recipe.
I know there's other ones of those ceramic cookers that aren't the Green Egg brand. Komodo, and I don't know what the other ones are. And then there's people who like the Traeger, which is a different concept. It uses the pellets. And I've never eaten anything cooked on a Traeger, so I can't.
I think my brother had a pellet grill or a pellet smoker
Yeah.
and bought the big Green Egg. So,
Instead.
but I know people are really loyal to the
Yeah.
Traeger, and I think it's pretty easy to use.
Wasn't the custodian or maintenance guy on the Friends apartment named Traeger?
He was. Yes, he was.
Remember when him and Joey practiced ballroom dance on the roof?
Do I remember that? So good. So good. I had a 4th of July. I did buy hot dogs just in case we ended up with a fire.
Oh, okay.
So we could roast them over.
So we've got some.
We do have some hot dogs.
Some Franks.
Beef Franks. You Singers, right from here in Wisconsin too. Also a great brand, not a bunch of fillers.
No sugar in it?
No, zero. Well, I think it says sugar on the label, but it's 0 carb.
Okay, so there's some.
So looking at different hot dogs, it is a good, fairly clean option. Lots of them have corn syrup, and I just refuse to buy any with corn syrup.
Traeger is great. We have been using it for years from Costco.
Ah.
Okay. Which reminds me, we need to get to Costco pretty soon.
That would be good.
It's I think it's funny when Carrie and Jen do a Costco live stream. I end up watching it going, why am I watching someone else shop for groceries?
Yep, good old Homestead Hell.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
The things we'll watch.
Yeah.
You'll watch a guy sitting in front of an R2-D2. Poor R2. He used to light up and make sounds, but I tried to convert him from batteries to a power supply, and I set it wrong, and I fried his circuitry.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, well.
Aww.
Yeah. So I think we've probably ran out of topics.
Yeah, I don't think I have anything else.
Yeah, so if you've enjoyed this, give us a like. If you enjoy our channel, please subscribe. We post new videos every Wednesday and Sunday, and we go live at random hours on Friday. So we've got things we've got to get off to.
It's about lunchtime.
And eating them is going to be...
Oh, you have a question. Do you want to grab it?
How is the sleep thing going? This week has been hell. I'll try no salt today. Sleep has been hit or miss. Mostly miss.
Yeah, you were trending up a little bit, but I think you might be trending down again.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
So we're going to sign off. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching.